Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQOAnostalgia here, and I've made my way over to the Monsters and Memories website because, well, like a lot of things in this life, it all began with a single comment.
There's a list. Oh, here's some.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
EQOA. Fucking. You made that video, and I have some of the Elementalists that I want to show you that I originally went through. I'll do that, and then I'll find the Goblin names because they're funny. But I was thinking about doing stuff like this for like some high tier Elementalists, where it's like cloth or whatever, and then water like dripping down, and then this guy's just a big old ugly in this flame girl or whatever. And then, but that's not it, because I wanted to sort of start with this. Mind you, these probably won't make it in game. Just letting you know right off the bat, probably won't make it in game, but I do want to approach them again. Because I was like, these are kind of cool, right? Where we have this cloud, this rock. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then there's also this idea of what if they have legs? They don't have to have legs. And then they had these elementalist chains, and so they each had like a part of them, because the idea with elementalists is that they're essentially caging the element that they have, or that they want to control. And that's what these things are around here. However, they're not shackles. So they have their own sense of like regality to them, and it's like fine metalwork that like tapers in the right way and stuff like that. So it's not nothing. That's the idea behind those.
So that's pretty awesome, right? They watch your videos, they interact with you, they actually care what you have to say. And yeah, he was already working on something that's kind of like the idea that I had. Unfortunately, he thinks that they're not going to make it into the game. Hopefully something like it makes it into the game, because those are awesome, man. And I think most people in the comments are going to agree that, yep, that's that's the way the Elementalist pets should go. They should scale up, but that's not the main reason why I'm here. I'm here because I was given a homework assignment, and, well, I take it very seriously.
I'm just going to keep on sending people to monstersandmemories.com because it's a really good website. We did a lot of updating on that. I did a lot of work for that. That was a culmination of a lot of work. I've been visiting the website a lot since the update. Everything looks incredible. Well, next time I stream, you guys better go over to... You have some homework. Go over to the website, check out all the races and class art, and tell me what your favorite one was, because I put a lot of effort into those fucking sick-ass illustrations. Alright?
So as you can see, I've got a homework assignment. Now, I take that very seriously, okay? Alright? Now, the first thing I want to mention is just how awesome the site looks, period. If you haven't been over here, definitely check it out. You can tell they put a lot of time into this. There's a lot of stuff for you to look into. They got a roadmap. I mean, these guys are awesome, all right? I'm going to fanboy out for a little while here because, well, I've been around for a bit. I remember when the game looked just like this, and it's always been playable from day one. That's one of the things that Sean had mentioned, a loving robot way back. He's like, look, we're building this thing from the ground up. We want to be able to run around in it. And, yeah, I hate to take shots at Pantheon over and over again, but, you know, shots fired. You got passionate developers here who, you know, they're not being crowdsourced, and they're getting things done. They have a realistic scope, and they're doing something that I think a lot of us want. Just EverQuest 1, but better. In my case, EQOA, but better. And if you take a look at this logo right here, you EQOA fans out there, you're gonna notice there's a certain similarity. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to notice that. And so immediately, this game was speaking my language right out of the gate. As soon as I saw the logo, I was like, oh, what's this? Click. Okay, click, 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 and it got better and better over time. Now, I've been talking with the devs off and on. I've talked with 4 of them so far. And all 4 of them have been really humble, awesome, they're passionate, and most importantly, they're real. They're not, I hate to be crass here, but they're not blowing smoke up my ass. And I appreciate that. They're just trying to make a world that they want to play in. I know it sounds kind of crazy. Nowadays, it's just kind of rough out there. But yeah, I could ramble on and on and on and on about all this stuff. Let's hop in there and take a look at... Let's take a look at the classes and the races. All right, here we go. I knew I was gonna get it right the first time. So the humans, I mean, well, they're humans, right? Humans are kind of boring. Let's be honest. I know there's a lot of people who like to play as the humans, but well, that's what I am, IRL. That's what I am, IRL. So it's one of the reasons why I can't really get into MMOs that only offer the human race as a playable race, because it's just boring, man. I like high fantasy, and I like to escape. I like to play something that, you know, I'm not, right? Like my first character ever in MMORPG, I played a Dark Elf, which, you know, looked a lot like this lass right here. I mean, you know, my tastes have changed over time, right? And I'm not really into the elves anymore because, well, I got to be really careful what I say over here because I don't want to get canceled. So I'll just let this guy say it for you.
All right, guy.
Hit me, man! I didn't do anything! Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me!
Right, so... yeah, it's not really my style. But they do look cool, especially the Wood Elves. I like what they're doing here. It just has a nice look to it. And, yeah. Yeah, man. And I'm sorry, I gotta tell stories. It's impossible for me to talk about MMOs without telling stories, but the first time I played as a female Dark Elf Necromancer, the first MMO character I ever made in EQOA, a druid made his way down towards our bank and called me a damn dirty Dark Elf. And I was like, oh, dude, you look awesome. And he's like, yeah, F you, filth. And like that same night, I ended up making a druid. I was so impressed with him. I love when people would roleplay like that and really get into character. I was never offended by that kind of stuff. I just found it hilarious. And then the missus and I did something similar with the Ogres during the EQOA beta, the Frontiers beta, when the Ogres just came out. And they were huge, man. Like the elves came up to our kneecaps, right? And we got buffed by the GMs to like level 50. And we went over to Facefire. Like the first thing we did is we went to Facefire and invaded it and just killed all their guards. And we had a massive elves all around us cheering us on. It's things like that. They're just really awesome. And I was talking to Goblin about that for a little bit, going back and forth about how we like to do that sort of stuff in MMOs. And that's part of the magic of it, really. And people, I don't know if people really do that anymore with modern MMOs. But anyways, I digress. The point is, which one of these is my favorite? Well, I can tell you right now, that's going to be really hard to pick a favorite. Because even the stuff that I'm not really into, stylistically, I think they look awesome. I can tell you right now, the missus is gonna pick the ogre because Morbid and Mordred, those were our ogres, and she always liked them. The Deep Dwarves are looking dope, and I like the lore around these guys. How they might be inhabited with spirits, and they're not actually dwarves inside of there. That's cool. It's twisted, but I like it, man. And Goblin was working on the female dwarf when I tuned into the stream, and I suggested, yeah, you guys should put like a kegger on her back, you know, with like a tankard hanging off, or maybe a tankard over here on her belt. That'd look cool. I mean, as an option. Obviously, you wouldn't want that all the time, but I think that would be really dope. But she's looking awesome. He's looking awesome. I'm just partial to the small races myself. Usually I roll a dwarf or a gnome. And, well, because it's not me. That's the opposite of me. I'm this big lumbering goofball. when I get to play an MMO, I like to be either a bigger goofball, like an ogre or a troll, or I like to be one of these little fellas. And just, dude, everything about this art style, I love it. The Deep Gnomes look cool. I like how big their eyes are and they kind of glow. I like the fact that they're probably going to be able to see in the dark, right? They're not going to need a torch like other races. I don't know. We don't know yet, but that's what I'm thinking. She's chilling here with a staff. He's got an orb, looking all stylish. And here's our Goblin. And I love the difference in size here, folks. A lot of MMOs don't have the nuts to do this. I don't know why. But one of the things about EQOA that I loved is that the trolls and the ogres were massive, dude. They were huge compared to other races, and you can see that contrast right here. You look at the mandrake and you look at the goblins. And by the way, is this a thing? Is there gonna be a mandrake race? I don't think so. I don't know what's going on with that. But he looks awesome. He's got an onion. He's got a red onion on his back, which is like my favorite. So red onions in your salad for the win, guys. The trolls look incredible, especially the female troll. They just remind me of EQOA and EverQuest 1. They look really cool. I love the big bushy eyebrows that this fella has. And they just look awesome. And oh, yeah, that's it. So if I had to pick out of all of these really nice looking models, I'm gonna go with the troll. I'm picking the troll because, well, they're green, they're big, and they're cool. So yeah. You guys let me know down in the comments which one of these races that you like the most. But yeah, the missus, like I said, she's not up right now. It's early in the morning. She's probably going to pick the ogre, and I'm going to go with the troll. All right, let's take a look at the classes now. We've got our monk, beastmaster, shaman, spellblade, and elementalist. The monk's looking cool. Beastmaster's got that primal look. I dig it. Shaman is looking cool. He's got his beads, or she. I think that's a female. I can't tell. They got their beads. They got their mask and their like their dream catcher type staff over here. Spellblade is looking really, really cool. I really like the way they look. I dig how they put like a illumination here. At least I think that was what he was doing. And yeah, man, I don't know. I think ever since my time with Final Fantasy IX and Steiner and Vivi, I've always had a thing for enchanting weapons and just being a badass. So I'm definitely making a Spellblade, but I'm probably going to main an Elementalist. And that's actually one of the things that Goblin wanted me to tune into the stream so he could show me some of the stuff they're working on. I'll let you guys listen to that real quick. Pretty awesome, right? I mean, they were already kind of working on that idea. And he said, I don't know if this stuff's going to make it into the game. I really hope it does. Now, I know Elise said that he's not all about the humanoid look. That's fine, man. Really. I mean, you can ditch the legs and just to give it that primal look. That's cool. But I think what Goblin has here looks really nice. I like how it kind of starts off like a blob type deal, and it grows and just looks increasingly badass over time. And I think that, yeah, you're definitely speaking my language with that, man. And I hope that gets a pass, because it's going to be a lot more interesting than just that, single pet. That pet looks. Hey, don't get me wrong. I think that pet looks awesome. The EverQuest 1 pet is cool, but yeah, like I said, coming from EQOA, I kind of got spoiled by that evolution of how the pets just scale. You know what I mean? I don't care if they're humanoid, as long as they're looking awesome. Like the concept art I'm seeing that you're using. Dude, yes, please. I dig the flame right here. Now, I don't know if this is something that's going to be part of the class, but I think it'd be really nice if it was. If people can tell what element you're attuned to just by looking over your right shoulder. Maybe some people might find that irritating, maybe have it toggleable, I don't know, or just forget what they say, who cares? I think that would be really cool if whatever element you were spec'd into was just kind of chilling right there. Maybe that would be an issue for PvP. I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's a great idea. We got Enchanter here, looking like your standard Enchanter. Druid, Necromancer, and Wizard. Out of these four, I have to say the Necro looks the most badass. And of course, you got the wizard with the crystal and the staff, looking cool. And we've got our bard, rogue, archer, and ranger. There's a difference between these two. At first, I looked at the archer and ranger. I was like, wait, what? Huh? Well, if you think about it, ranger's going to be... They're going to have more druidic type magic. Think like Spirit of the Wolf, right? Maybe. Gather berries, that kind of thing. So they're going to have long range and such. But they're also going to be able to pull out their swords and... you know, just whoop ass. I don't know much about the archer or ranger, to be honest. I haven't looked into them that much, but yeah, I should probably do that before this video is over. That'd be good if I looked at the description of each one of these classes, right? Wouldn't that be nice if I did my homework? Shadow Knight's looking cool. Inquisitor, I hate Inquisitors. Why? Because, well, they're anti-mage, and, you know, that's why. But no, in all seriousness, they look really cool. I dig the gem. And I dig the robed / plate user look. Looking awesome. The fighter's got that standard barbaric look going on. Cleric's looking cool like a badass priest. And you got the paladin over here. Just looking all paladin-y and righteous and awesome. So, I don't know. To pick my favorite out of all of these. If I had to pick one, I'd say the Spellblade. Just because he just looks awesome, dude. He's just got an awesome look. And like I said, I really dig the way that the blade kind of has that illumination going on. And elemental weaponry for the win. He just looks cool. The missus is probably going to go with Shaman because, well, I know the missus and she digs Shaman. And Ogre Shaman is definitely the way she's going to go. And that's just going to be the way it is. But yeah, man. All of this stuff is looking really cool. Oh, there's a harpy chilling over here. Some more concept art. We'll flip through this real quick. This Eye of the Beholder type deal stuff over here. Oh, wow. That looks like almost like a djinn from EQOA. I dig it, dude. Nice. The queen bee type deal. Or she actually looks like a ladybug. That's awesome. You got your rhino dude over here. Rhino beetle. Chillaxin. Shark folk. Man, that's spooky. Hopefully they're in like the Pirate Cove or something. And you have like a Goonies reference. It looks like he's got fish on him. I dig that. It's cool, man. So yeah, I don't want to go through all of this stuff. But yeah, the classes and the races, everything about this is looking really cool. It's speaking my language because, well, I like the classic D&D stuff. And I don't know why everybody feels like they have to reinvent the wheel all the time. But, well, yeah, it just irritates me. I like the classic stuff, man. EverQuest 1, EQOA. I think it's more than good enough. It's just awesome. It's always been awesome. There's a lot of variety to it, and like I said, this is why I can't really get into games that they only have one race and they got like 4 classes or whatever. This game's already got like 18 classes, I think it is. Let's count them. Let's count them real quick. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 classes right away. Yes, please. All right, now let's go to the races. How many races do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 races. I'm going to count out the Mandrake for now because I don't know what's going on with the Onion Dude over here, but he's looking cool. So, yeah, they already have more than EQOA had, which was 14 classes and 11 races, just off the top of my head. And, yeah, man, it's just... variety. The more variety, the better. Because, right, variety. Now I'm just rambling. I'm being a fanboy. I'm nerding out on this stuff. I think it all looks incredible. Every single bit of it, dude. And I can't wait to play it, man. I really can't. All right, now you guys get to listen to me absolutely butcher the English language. Humans are the most common race found on the continent of Eth-ur. I hope I'm saying that right. They vary in disposition, motivation, and aptitude almost as greatly as they number. Despite this strong sense of individuality, 4 common human cultures exist on Eth-ur. The Bahara, a proud seafaring people whose history dates back to the fall of Hathalia, and who are rumored to align with powerful supernatural forces. The Tarelians, the other humans to migrate east during the Second Deicidium. Whoa. Whoa, man, this just got dark. That's so somebody who's been killing some gods or something over here. They're a powerful and noble people whose queen is rumored to have gone mad. Sweet. The dour and superstitious people of East-Thime, whose love of tradition and bureaucracy is topped only by their affinity for corruption. The nomadic sojourners, clans of these wildlings, tinkers, entertainers, and traveling merchants can be found throughout Eth-ur. Now we're on to the gnomes, one of my favorites. No race on Eth-ur is as inventive or creative as the diminutive gnomes. Their ceaseless pursuit of truth, coupled with their extraordinary epiphanies, make them unrivaled in their genius. Behind the chaos of their workspaces and their curt, distracted demeanors, they are kind, gentle souls and are perhaps the most benign and also brilliant and charming of Eth-ur's races. However, you should be warned, some gnomes have fallen to the allure of dark gods and seek to use their brilliance for vile purposes. Yeah, man. Yeah, EQOA, we had those evil gnomes that were seeking after necromancy. So, yeah, the gnomes can swing either way, I guess. Deep Gnome, descendant from gnomes. This curious race emerged after the Great Cataclysm, having been transformed by something they'd experienced while deep underground. I'm sure that's nothing good, by the way. Where gnomes are the world's greatest engineers and researchers, Deep Gnomes are the preeminent meta-scientists and explorers of the worlds beyond. The curiosity of Deep Gnomes is relentless, and they are fearless in venturing where others wouldn't dare. So like those guys who like go diving into caves and squeeze between crevices on YouTube, and I cringe the whole way through and have like a panic attack. That kind of thing. While Deep Gnomes make it a point to mingle with other races, they are only interested in doing so if it furthers their research. Unlike their surface cousins, Deep Gnomes do not seek to understand the truths of the universe, but rather those of the multiverse. They became the deep divers of the dreamscapes, explorers of the astral planes, and spelunkers of the spirals, and the more they learned, the more pressing their desire became to return to the surface. Awesome race. Really interested in this stuff. The whole underground thing is just, like I've said before, we were supposed to get underfoot, y'all. EverQuest 1 got it. Still pisses me off to this very day. So yeah. Alright, moving right along. We've got the dwarves. Yes. Okay, so the origins of the dwarves are not entirely clear, but many historians trace their arrival on Eth-ur to coincidence with that of the dragons after the Burning Heavens cataclysm. Oh man. We're going to have to learn a little bit more about this stuff. Dwarven creation myths suggest that the dwarven people originate from the great mountains of the Galdry Range to the east. These myths state that their people were created from the blood of their ancestor god, a great titan who formed their homeland upon his death. His blood gave life to the stone and shaped the dwarven people in his image. Dwarves are fond of strong drink, fine craftsmanship, astronomy, and exploration. They are quick-tempered, fierce fighters, whose fortitude resembles the stone from which they are believed to have originated. As both master craftsmen and insatiable explorers, dwarves can be found throughout Eth-ur. To befriend one of these stout and loyal folk is to make a friend for life. Yeah, that's right, man. I'm a dwarf at heart. All right, that's it's just the way it is. Like, it's just how it is. I vibe with the dwarves. I always have, and just in these rough sketches here, they look awesome. So, Deep Dwarf. These enigmatic dark reflections of the dwarven cousins, quote-unquote, are believed to originate from the same titan's blood. The stories of the Deep Dwarves' origins, often told to frighten dwarven children before bed, kind of like the Oni. I don't know if you guys are aware of like Japanese culture and the Oni. It's kind of messed up, but Onimusha for the win. Man, I hope they bring that back someday. Speak of the blood of life flowing into the darkest crevices of the deep regions below Eth-ur. It was there amongst corrupted stone that the first of the Deep Dwarves took form. Uh-oh. However, the Deep Dwarves' relentless drive to collect spirits and trap them in their creations lead many to think that they are but trapped spirits themselves. Now, this is awesome. This is what I was talking about before. Really nice lore with that. Perhaps the Titan's blood encountered something more than corrupted stone in those dark crevices where the separation between realities can be so thin. Huh. So it's like they went into the upside down and got tainted by it. The Deep Dwarves are a calculating, methodical race. They tirelessly reshape the deep with cold precision and incredible skill. They not only carve and shape the stone, but breathe life into strange creations that assist them in their efforts. The insidious strategists see Eth-ur and its fonts of life as something to exploit and conquer, and their steady, plodding determination is matched only by their stony strength. So yeah, these guys are definitely evil. They look really cool, man. I'm usually not drawn to the more dark stuff, but these guys are pretty badass. High Elves. The Cylindrine, or High Elves as they are commonly called, are tall, beautiful, almost otherworldly beings. Their powerful physiques, innate grasp of magic, and calm, calculated demeanor further feed into this sense of otherworldliness. They embrace this perception and lean into this sense of superiority. Purity is another common theme amongst the High Elves, as they consider themselves to be the only uncorrupted remnants of the great Califrey conglomerate, an elven empire that once spanned much of Eth-ur's western seaboard. As the last of their kind who follow strict religious doctrines, the High Elves are notoriously insular and one of the least welcoming of the civilized races in Eth-ur. It doesn't help that their sense of superiority is often reinforced when the quality of their craftsmanship, magic, and military prowess is tested. F around and find out when it comes to elves. That's definitely true. However, in recent years, a growing faction within their ranks has pushed for greater diplomacy and increased collaboration with potential allies, and now this infighting has begun to manifest as more than just raucous debate. As the long-lived of the civilized races of Eth-ur, quote-unquote, the infighting may take some time to play out, for the High Elves' plan can take centuries to unfold. Yeah, it's sometimes being an isolationist is just not a good idea, but I can vibe with some of this, right? Wood Elves. The Faelawin, or Wood Elves, as they are more commonly called, once resembled their High Elf cousins. Today, these keepers of Eth-ur's great forests no longer appear as the elves they once were. Having been denied shelter from the great cataclysm by the Cylindrine, the Faelawin were spared when the Fae of the branch interceded. Unfortunately, all deals with the Fae come at a considerable price. When this new generation of elves returned from the Umbra, they found that they were born of two worlds but belonged to neither. Interesting. While reclusive and cautious, the Wood Elves are fair and hospitable. They are highly attuned to nature and share a special relationship with both the flora and fauna of the great wooded hills. Their preservers and ardent keepers maintain watch of the forests they've worked for centuries to rebuild. Their druids quickly travel the world via natural waygates, and their lambent wanderers, a collection of Faelawin bards and traders, roam the lands of Eth-ur to conduct trade and diplomacy, spread their lore, and gain knowledge of the world beyond their woods. At home, the Wood Elves are monitoring the increasing growth of cults dedicated to the Fae of the branch, who seek to return their people and potentially even their lands back to the realm of the Fae. Uh-oh. Looks like they got in bed with something that they shouldn't have, huh? Deep Elf. While almost eradicated as a people during the wars following the collapse of the Califrey conglomerate, it's believed that the Eltrist are now the most prolific race. Elven race, rather. Once vanquished, banished, and hunted, these elves fled deep underground. It is here that they first heard the Shadow's voice. Having been warned by the Shadow of the impending calamity that burned bright in the heavens, the Eltrist descended further into the shelter of the deep. There they found a thriving ecosystem and adapted to the darkest depths of Eth-ur's corrupt underbelly. And it's there that they learned to subjugate even the most demonic of forces, or as their appearance and collective ethos began to transform, perhaps they merely learned to coexist with the powers they sought to control. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. You dabble in that dark stuff, man, and stare long enough into the abyss, right? In the years that followed, the Eltrist have claimed the title of Masters of the Deep and proven to be formidable against the armies of the surface world. They've reclaimed the ruins of the city from which they were driven by the Cylindrine so long ago, and now deep below rests the great capital city of the underworld in which the Eltrists scheme and the Shadow listens. Yeah, hell hath no fury, right? They've definitely been scorned, so they're going to be looking for some revenge. Ogres. These furious and fearless warriors are capable of incredible violence. In a heartbeat, their temperaments can swing from the stillness of a placid sky to the unadulterated fury of a raging tempest. They vary greatly in intelligence and disposition, but none of them fear death, for only the bravest of them will feast in the shattered halls of the elders. Got a little bit of that Viking lore going on there. Ogres were created by the giants of the Storm Coast to assist in encountering the hordes of filth, quote-unquote, that poured into Eth-ur during the first invasions of the Spiral Lords. Long after those wars, an unnatural cataclysmic event shattered the Storm Coast and killed off their giant elders, leaving the ogres both homeless and without masters. Over the centuries that followed, the ogres resettled in the frigid north of Eth-ur and built a stratified martial civilization ruled by warlords. Today, these massive masters of violence can be found throughout Eth-ur. Their strength and discipline has earned them a reputation as renowned soldiers, loyal mercenaries, and skilled craftsmen. Halflings. Halflings are the oldest of Eth-ur's races by far. Now that's interesting, man. So they're like the OG race, thriving as a civilization long before the other races had any significant presence on the planet. Like Fey beings, Halflings are born of Eth-ur's life fonts and are deeply attuned to the sentient planet. Naturally curious and consummate lore keepers, Halflings were the first wanderers and storytellers of the world. The Halfling race has lived through and witnessed all the events that unfolded on Eth-ur across the eons. When the world was safe, they roamed it, observing its marvels and spinning what they learned into wondrous stories and tales. When it wasn't, they often, but not always, hid in their cozy warrens and waited until they could resurface again. The world has changed much over the millennia, and so too did the Halflings. Today, the majority of Halflings are jovial, peace-loving farmers and settlers, as opposed to the daring wanderers of old. Unbeknownst to most, including many in their own communities, they've retained much of the lore of lost ages, and there are still a few quiet, adventurous Halflings still looking to add to those tales. So this is cool. It looks like some of the secrets of this race are being kept from the common folk. Conspiracy wheels start to turn. All right, shut up, man. Don't go there. Now, I got to make the conspiracy joke, because over on Monsters and Memories, where I posted my video, somebody said, oh so lovingly, that I was the Alex Jones of the MMO community. Kiss my ass, dude. How's that sound?
Snotty little bastard.
You can't handle the truth!
Troll. It's believed that trolls appeared on Eth-ur during the first invasions of the Spiral Lords. After cutting a swath across Eth-ur, they emancipated themselves from their masters and melted away into the swamps, crags, and caves that served them so well as hunting grounds. Millennia of war and catastrophes have tested the tempered them to become ultimate survivors. No race in Eth-ur has the physical resilience, natural adaptability, or cunning of trolls. They are self-serving and distrustful of everyone, including other trolls. They are cruel, calculating, and predatory, motivated only by power, self-interest, and survival. Above all, trolls value their independence. They bow only to power surpassing their own, but even then, that's what poisons are for. Trolls are supremely crafty hunters, trappers, and survivalists. This is not just out of necessity, but out of the innate sense of purpose. As such, the more ambitious and crafty of their lot have made their way out of the swamps and into the employment of those seeking only the most vicious bounty hunter, assassin, or beguiler. Trolls may be found throughout Eth-ur, but they are not always welcomed, and they're always watched closely. Yeah, humans will do trade with just about anybody, as long as you behave yourself, right? And that's why humans are always the enterprising race in all these old school MMOs, where they just spread everywhere. And their influence is felt everywhere, because they're willing to deal with just about everybody to become the mercantile masters of the planet, right? That's kind of how it goes in EQ1 anyway. Alright, last but not least, we come to the Goblins. Greedy, sneaky, nasty, stabby, deceptive, and outright evil. These are the words of the races of Eth-ur ascribed to Goblins. Only tolerable because their unique intuition for sensing secrets and maybe their sixth sense of humor. Yeah, They help to keep things interesting in the party, man. Goblins have an aptitude for identifying hidden entrances or being able to tell when another is not being truthful. And so they find great utility in leveraging their race's renown for secret finding, espousing themselves as invaluable guides to reluctant adventurers. For a non-goblin, it will be nigh impossible to navigate through the labyrinthine forest that shrouds the heap, that goblins call home, an ever-growing pile of all the various riches and plunder the goblins manage to attain from all their nefarious activities. What goblins lack in brute strength and size, they compensate for with an uncanny perceptiveness, chaotic presence, and mental alacrity. Sorry. Goblins are supremely adept at seeing opportunities where others would not, connecting the dots others miss, and capitalizing on them. It's not just how hard you thrust the knife, it's where the knife ends up. Now, I was going to take a deeper look at the classes, guys, but this is already running past a half an hour. So if you want me to do that, I will in a follow-up video. You got to let me know down in the comments, and we'll take a look at the world a little bit more as well. But I encourage you guys to come over here, look through all this stuff, spend some time over here on the website, because like he said, they spent a lot of time updating this stuff and just getting it looking as badass as it is. So you're definitely going to want to do that. I want to thank everybody who's taken the time to speak to the community. Goblin, thank you for pointing out the elemental pets and just kind of getting a little bit more into that. It's really awesome how you guys are taking the time to speak with us, and you're just being really transparent. I appreciate that, and I'm sure I speak for most of my audience when I say that. I'm sure that's something that most of us feel. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a thumbs up. Get down in the comments section. I thank you all for watching. God bless, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.